Am I supposed to take the next sentence?
What's the question? What are we doing? What are we doing on this planet right now?
Well, that seems to be the question, right? What I'm trying to figure out, here's what I'm wondering, okay, is if atheism is a bullshit guide for life because most people are too worthless to figure out how to exist without a guy in a robe telling them what to do. That's essentially my
Wait,
question. And I feel
wait,
like
but
the
this feels
answer to
like a
that is
confusion of concepts, though.
what?
Like wait, you just defined spirituality as a thing, which is like a set of like ethical and moral, whatever, metaphysical beliefs that provides meaning.
Yeah.
And then, but the opposite of this thing is like what guy in robes? Like this seems.
Yeah, because that's because people have to go to some religious institution to get all of these things. That seems to be the case. That's what I'm wondering. If it doesn't have to be that way.
Okay, one, I feel like I'm in. So atheism feels like it falls to me under the predictive category. Like atheism is a system that says like I predict that if we, I don't know, perform some sort of like ideal test, we will discover that there is a God. Like if we get the absolute AI that's the truth teller to tell us, it will tell us there is no God. Like that's what that's doing. But it's a completely different thing from spirituality. It's like not even the same like framework. It's not in the layer of like thought. Two different planes of existence.
Um,
Does this make sense? Should I like try and
I mean, it sounds
explain
like,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I mean, it sounds like I'm talking about like all of the things that you get from religion, and you're talking about atheism is just like a statement about like a fact of the universe, so you don't see how these two things connect, right?
Yeah, you can like make a prediction that no, I'm not going to find a guy in white robes, and
Yeah,
also have
but
like a
sure.
system of ethical meaning.
I guess I'm not really talking about religion or atheism. I'm talking about like all the second order things that seem to be abstracted from those two things.
Okay,
So if
like
you're
the
an atheist, it
cult.
seems like you might tend to not have these good epistemic, metaphysical, or ethical answers to life. If you are religious, it seems like you do have these good epistemic, metaphysical, and ethical answers to life.
What do you think that atheists currently have as their answer?
Nothing.
What do you have?
A whole set of things, I'm not the problem because I think I'm an atheist and I'm happy. But it feels like most people that are in my position are fucking miserable. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Most Christians I know are fucking miserable, also,
But not
for what it's
compared to
worth.
atheists. I don't think so. I don't think they're as miserable. They're not like running
Yeah, this
around
is
on
true.
college campuses, piercing their ears and identifying as non-binary furries, and then like killing themselves because somebody misgendered them when they're not even really trans on Twitter. Like I think that it's a
Yeah.
they're starting to get like worlds apart in terms of like what's going on. Like if I get into an argument with somebody on Twitter and I look at their profile and they've got written like depressed, like cutter, third suicide attempt, like oh I'm arguing with a progressive. Like I know that every single time, you know. And yeah, I think that's a problem. I agree that lots of people are miserable, lots of people are unhappy. There are like societal-wide problems. That's absolutely true. But I think it feels like there is a divergence between like the happiness in general of like progressives and conservatives. And I think there is some, it's not a slam dunk argument and it's a little disingenuous, but there is a little bit of emotional legitimacy to the idea of like, why is a progressive telling me, you know, how to live my life when the number one reason they're against gun control is because if they had one, they'd probably kill themselves. Right. I think that's the difference. I think that's an issue.
You just go to a protest with that.
Yeah. But I guess like in the broad sense, so here's like the frustrating part for me, right? Especially with all this red pill shit. I see all these fucking retarded Western losers converting to fucking Islam. They go to fucking Dubai, which is like Islam for tourists. They don't know anything about this dog shit religion that they're converting to. They have no values. They don't even live good like Muslim lives. They
Yeah.
don't know anything about it. But then it's like, okay, well I look at them and you know, they're retarded, but they're happy. You know, they've got like a new dude to follow. They've got a bunch of celebrities that they can worship now. They've got like some fucking basic organizing principles for their life. They've got like some, oh, I want to tread woman and family. It's like, okay, like it might be fucking retarded, but like at the end of the day, it seems like they're better off for it, right? And then I have to look at the other end and we've got all these like postmodern, quasi-nihilistic, whatever the fuck, progressives, no religion, blah, blah, blah. And they're all miserable. They don't want families, not even for good reasons. They just like, everything is just like fucked. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, these are the hyper liberal people. And the cool thing about liberalism is that you have the ability to explore and find your own meaning. But I'm wondering, maybe most people are too retarded to actually do that. Or is there like a
Yeah,
better way to
freedom
organize? Yeah, go ahead.
sucks. Yeah, did you see the Nexium documentaries? Did I already ask you this?
I don't think I have.
The next thing I'm talking about is about the cult. Do you know about the cult at all? Any basic
Oh,
facts?
yeah, I think I told one of the women reached out to me to talk to me about it for some reason. I don't think I
Oh
streamed
yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did talk to you a little bit about it, but basically in this, like you watch the cult and it's like they're subjecting these women to a bunch of really horrific things,
Mm-hmm.
and then the women just talk about their experience and it's filled with such like glowing reviews, like
Yeah.
this is so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really stuck on this question, like how what on what basis are we able to tell these people that it's wrong? Um, and there's some value that I figured out that I had, which was something like increased agency or increased choice, which feels sort
Wait,
of
wait, your
inherently
thing just cut out. Increased agency and increased what?
choice.
Choice. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like you feel like the
There's
people
some
in the
like
Nexium thing had that, or you feel like you have that not being in the cult? Like you're trying to figure
no
out
no
what's
they
the.
didn't.
Okay, okay.
Right, so they were reporting being very happy, but they
Mm-hmm.
had significantly reduced agency,
Yeah. I feel
and
like.
which is like there's in my circles there's like some kind of slightly weird philosophers that I'm suspicious of, but one of the things that they like to say a lot is love is that which enables choice. Like to love someone is to find out what the core of their being is and like kind of expand this. Like what is their will? What is their that part of your sensation of consciousness that is choice, which is basically all of it. I
Mm-hmm.
think this is what the sensation of being a person is, and like make this as large as possible. This is kind of like a hippie thing to say. I don't know, but this rings something true with me. Does it with you?
No, I used to think so, but I think it's actually not true. The way that I view this is I think people feel like they want the freedom to make choices, but I think that what they actually want is the freedom to make the correct choice. And they want to feel like they're making the right choice, but they don't actually need the maximum amount of choices. I actually feel like the more choices you put in front of somebody, like consistently, the more miserable that person will be, and that it will always like be that case. If people don't actually want an infinite amount of choices, they just want like a couple things to choose between, and they want to feel like they're empowered to make the best choice possible. But that's it.
Yeah, I think that this is true. Like, there's a thing of like choice paralysis, and I noticed like I'm often unhappy when I'm shopping on websites that have way more options. I think this is a true thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I noticed that I have the belief that love is that which enables choice, and now I don't know if I'm thinking about two separate concepts or if I actually just uncovered an inconsistency in my thinking.
Yeah. I think like going
I
by
don't
what you
know.
just said, like buying a laptop was one of the hard. I know so much about tech and computers and all that. Buying a laptop was like one of the hardest choices of my life because it feels like you have like five different categories and you can only do well in two. And it was so confusing. I've wanted to buy a new car for like 2 or 3 years, and every time I look, I can't do it because there's so many choices. I feel like these are just
Right.
like minor, small, stupid things. But it's like, yeah, in that advent of things, like just having like unlimited choice, or actually maybe more personal to you. If you were like in a small community and you had to choose like a good husband, maybe there's only like a small selection of like suitable bachelors for you. But now that you're literally traveling the world and talking to a million people, I imagine for you, the comparisons in your mind are probably a lot broader since you've got so much access to
Right.
people around the world. Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure if this is actually the thing I'm talking. It might be the thing I'm talking about, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe. So when I I'm mulling on the sensation of choice that I'm thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
it feels something like it feels like I'm a glowing sun, and there is some sort of like big block sitting on one side of me, and I remove that block. It That's the sensation I'm talking about, like in an outpouring of expression and creativity, and sort of like a removal of shame. Like shame is sort of like do not be this way or do not act in this way. Don't think that, and like removing it feels like I'm have greater capacity or something. And this is I'm like trying to figure out this concept that I'm referring to, or the sensation is like just another version of the same sensation that you're talking about with like choosing a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell.
One thing that I kind of wonder, I guess maybe on the same vein, you can talk to me if you feel this way or not, is I kind of wonder if the choice thing doesn't feel good, because I'm not trying to tip too hard, I swear to God. But in some ways, I kind of feel like choices are illusions, and that we don't actually know what we want. So we need somebody to give us a few options, and then we can choose from there, and then we can figure out what we want. But given like unlimited choices, a person would never know because they need to kind of like be on rails a little bit. Does that make sense?
Would you like to go to jail?
Wait. Can you say that again? I'm sorry. Your mic cuts in and out sometimes.
Would you like to go to jail?
No.
So, would you not be happier with fewer options?
I wouldn't be happy with the options in jail, right? But I think there's something to be said for the idea that I think that there are some people who would say that, like, I don't want to go to jail because I want the freedom to live my life. But the freedom of their life might be work from home, League of Legends, and porn for 10 years, right? And that's like, they have freedom, but like, do they? Right?
Yeah.
So
I'm
like,
reminded of
go ahead. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Sorry, because we're on latency, so sometimes I talk, you've already started talking. So yeah, just go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna actually shut up now.
Okay.
Oh no.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. My mic might suck. I'm traveling, so I don't have my normal mic setup, which is marginally better than my current one.
Oh no, that's good. It's not the mic. It's because you're far away from me. Sometimes you'll talk, but there's latency, so then I'll talk when it's still silent, but then I'll hear your sound come through, so then I'll stop, and then it's like caught, and that's what's going on. Yeah, sorry.
I was saying I went to a summer like a Christian Bible thing camp when I was a kid, and I hated the thought because it was so scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I really don't want to go there. This is not the way I want to live my life. And then I went there, and it was fantastic. So maybe you would actually like jail.
Wait, no. I think I am one of the people that likes, in general, like I like a lot of choice and a lot of freedom.
Okay.
But that's because like this is a better combo off stream. I actually hate talking about these stupid fucking things in front of everybody. But I'll be as tippy as right now because I don't give a fuck. I don't
Why?
mind
Because
all of.
people yell at you?
No, because I think that most people are fucking boring fucking losers. They can't figure out how to do anything without like a ton of peer pressure and social pressure around them. And I'm not like that. But then when I talk like that, obviously it sounds really tippy, but it's just fucking annoying, right?
Sounds like you enjoy being angry.
No, I don't enjoy being angry. It's just an annoying conversation to have in public. I don't need like social approval to do the things that I'm doing. Like I think that I am incredibly unique there. But I think that most people feel like they need like a ton of social validation for the choices that they make. So when we talk about like, do you need choices or do you want choices? Do you want freedom? Blah, blah, blah. I think that most people don't want unlimited freedom because unlimited freedom might mean actually doing something that other people aren't doing. And most people can't have that. They'll self-destruct. Right? It's why when we talk about like, oh, do you want freedom? Do you want choice? Choose like the best consumerist product that every other person wants. It's never actually advocating for you to do anything unique with your life. It's just advocating for you to do the thing that everybody else wishes they could do. It's like you be like the most unique by being the most conformist of like the highest quality product that everybody else wants, right? Like even all of counterculture eventually like subsumes all of this to where like the counterculture ends up being assimilated into the culture. And now like your countercultural things are the things that everybody in the counterculture wants. You know, like who's the most goth, the most scene, the most emo. It's like all still like the same types of competitive games of like just signaling for social approval, I feel.
Wait, you're saying that in general, people want a small amount of choices, and this is exemplified by things like you just give people the popular option?
Kind of. Or it's not that people want a small amount of choices. It's that people need the choices because without the choices, they wouldn't know what they'd want at all.
Oh, it's like the thing where I make it sound like it's your idea?
A little bit. Like, let's say that I'm asking you, like, okay, you're given free reign in a fashion designer warehouse, and you can design whatever clothing you want. You've got the ability to do whatever you want. Welcome. This is your dream. And maybe some guy that's really into fashion or something will be like, oh, this is awesome. But like at the end of the day, that person is not going to be happy in that scenario because he doesn't want the ability to design anything. He wants to choose the most popular design that everybody else wants, but maybe can't afford, right? So given unlimited freedom there, that's actually not a good decision for him. He would feel bad because he doesn't want to design something unique that nobody else has or wants because it doesn't feel good to have that thing. So at the end of the day, the only choices you want are, okay, well here, you can choose between these two things that like everybody else wants or is going after. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I can choose. I'm going to choose the thing that everybody else wants. So you're getting these quote unquote choices, but not really. It's more just like somebody's giving you a decision tree and you get to pick which path to follow.
I think I understand vaguely what you're saying, but I don't understand how it relates to the core question about choice that we were having originally.
Because when it comes to choosing, like, what is your purpose for life? I think that's a really hard question to answer. Or how do I figure out what things I believe are true and real? That's a really hard question. Or what do I feel like is right or wrong? Those are really difficult questions to answer. But if you're religious, you get all of those things for free. You don't have to think about them a single time in your entire life. Or you think about them, but the way that you think about them is through the lens of your religion. And then you've got a ton of spiritual guidance from teachers and everything and history to help you.
Yeah, that seems true to me.
Yeah, so
I think it's like, I think there's a lot less existential dread. Like, for example, after I lost my faith, which I think was a good move, I then experienced a lot of existential dread because I had all of these options suddenly open to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's really unpleasant.
Yeah, for a while. But now I'm wondering if, like, do most people just never get out of that? Or to go back to my, like, very original question, it's like, what is the what is, like, is it reasonable to expect most people to be able to work through that, or is that just an unreasonable request? You know?
I think like our atheist religion right now is everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, but that ends up being nothing, right? Because it can't be everything, because then it just feels like nothing, right? That's what it seems like. All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.